It's that time of year again, and fall brings with it conventions. Now, the only really big convention we have around here is Halcon down in Halifax, Nova Scotia. Almost every single year since 2013, we've gone down to see the vendors, all the people doing signings, and, all the amazing cosplayers that are down there. But, unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to go last year. So we decided to set aside at least one day to be able to go down and take a look. So, come this morning, we're going to be heading on down to Halcon. Alright, so we're on our way down to Halcon. We got Ryan from the Kryptonian Collector driving. It's a good 3-hour drive down and then a good 3-hour drive back. Today we're only going down for one day. That'd be Saturday. Normally that's the biggest day of the con. You get a lot of people, a lot of guests that only come down for specifically Saturday, Sunday. So we'll see how that goes. I'm looking more so for the vendors, but it should be a good trip nonetheless. We're about, I'd say, a good 34 minutes out, so let's get on to the floor. Unfortunately, it's raining, but we'll work around it. A couple years back, the people who organized Halcon decided it was time to change up the venue. Thus, they moved from their original location to a much more open and modern setting. The whole thing felt much more open and inviting than in previous years, which was a nice change, and the abundance of hardworking volunteers made it super easy to find anything that you were looking for. But with us, it was obvious what we had to see first: the vendor floor. Tons of people from all over Atlantic Canada and beyond venture down every year to set up booths where they can sell artwork, video games, figures, and a ton of other stuff. Myself personally, I was looking for two things: rare video games and unique anime merch. Eventually, I managed to get my hands on some pretty cool stuff, most of which we'll talk about later. But I was super sad to see that a lot of vendors were greatly overcharging for retro video games. I mean, seriously? $300 for a water-damaged version of the original Persona? No thanks. After the vendor floor, we met up with some other awesome content creators like our very own Brookberry Juice and Danica from Princess Dan Cosplay. But the real highlight came in the form of some awesome guests. Upcoming Twitch star and fellow streamer Sarahmony was a true highlight for us, as during her panel she gave amazing advice on the do's and don'ts of streaming life. Getting a chance to talk with her one-on-one after the panel was probably one of the best moments of the trip, and it was super cool to meet someone so down to earth and ready to open up about the struggles of balancing life and content creation, a struggle that we know all too well. Beyond that, we stepped into Mark Pellegrina's panel as well. Sorry if I butchered his name there. But this legend was probably best known for playing Lucifer in Supernatural. He had some interesting stories to tell, such as this amazing little tidbit.
I don't know whether I should reveal this about Jared. But I think it's sort of common. I think it's common knowledge.
Common knowledge, he's a complete pest on set.
A complete what?
Pest.
So, there's a scene where I'm talking to the boys, and I blow on the window and it frosts up, and I draw the thing there, the pitchfork sign. You know that scene? Yeah. And I talk about hell being cold, not hot, like so many people think. And I proceed to, I don't know, sort of do the spine, reveal the spine of the story to them. Well, Jared has gas. And it's fairly well known, I think, so I'm not really revealing anything embarrassing. So right before the take, they do a procedure where they say rolling sounds, speeding, and then they clap her in front of the camera, and then you start the scene. Well, we did all that, the scene was beginning, I hadn't said my words yet, but right before I started to speak, Jared farted. And it wasn't a normal fart. It was a weaponized fart. And we didn't cut. We just kept going. And it was a closed set, so it was very close quarters. And I believe they kept that take. And so next time when you see it, understand that I am doing that entire take in Jared's fart cloud.
After adventuring through Halifax, checking out some of the panels, and many trips through the vendor floor, we were ready to head back home to Moncton where we could get some much-deserved rest. Now that we're back in Moncton though, I figured we would take a moment to look at some of the awesome things that we grabbed from Halcon. First up, those of you who watch the channel on a regular basis know that I am a huge fan of Persona, especially Persona 3, and we had to grab this Elizabeth figure for such a great price. Now we can add it in with our Yuna Rakami and Aegis figures, so I'm super glad to have this in the collection. Out of all the other anime stuff we saw at the convention, the only thing that piqued my eye for a good price was this Kirito figure. Now, a lot of you guys are probably big fans of Sword Art. I really enjoyed certain parts of the series as well, but Kirito's actually been one of the backbone inspirations for some of the characters in my own personal stories, so I was really glad to finally have a figure of him to get even further inspired from. On the gaming side, I didn't find all that much for a good price. The only thing that really stood out was Bomberman Hero on the N64, just trying to fluff up the collection considering that I'm missing quite a few N64 classics. This year we were also super happy to see that they brought back the weapons booth where they were selling all kinds of different blades, both decorative and real, and I had to grab a few different things from them. First off, I got myself a practice butterfly knife. Butterfly knives are illegal in Canada, but you can have a practice one all you want, so I've been goofing around with that the last few days. Beyond that, I picked up another blade as well, which I've been having a lot of fun with. It's really cool to add this into the collection because I just have this fascination with knives. I don't know, maybe that should be a red flag or something. Speaking of red flags, my favorite thing that I picked up from the convention is definitely this katana here. Now, the vendor herself said that it was called Night, and it was part of a set with Day and Night meant to be dual-wielded, but I only picked up the one, so thus I think I'm going to rename it myself. I haven't decided on a name yet, but it's really cool to have a katana that's not actually from anything. Instead, it feels like it's a bit more of my own thing, and I'm really glad to have that in my collection as well. Alright, I am so tired. Thank you guys for venturing with us down to Halcon. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I really enjoyed making it. It's always a ton of fun doing this kind of stuff. I hope to do it again next year. Maybe we'll go down for the 3 days again, or maybe we'll go to something even bigger like Fan Expo or God knows what else. So I want to thank you guys once again for following us, and I will see you guys in the next video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you around. Okay. So far, so good.
Do we want to go back to see if...
No, we do not want to go back. We never want to go back. We live in the rest of this dungeon for the rest of our lives. We will never go back. Okay.
Alright, let's keep going.
Hey, there's an item back there. So I just go back. Yeah. Somebody should clip that. That was great.